And I don't mean that hustling that a lot of these people on these channels doing to y'all, like they hustling y'all. They not really teaching y'all anything. They just want something from you. Hey, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy Entre Mike, with an Entre short for entrepreneur. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, hit that like and subscribe button. Today we're gonna be talking about a topic that I think needs to be addressed. Although I know I'm doing a whole hotshot game, I've just been seeing a lot of content that seems like it's misleading with misinformation. So we're gonna get into why I think that you probably shouldn't start a box truck business in 2022. There are reasons why you probably should. There are ways you still can. But with everything that's going on, let's just get into the facts. Let's get into the numbers and see why starting the box truck business in 2022 is just simply going to be a little more difficult, and it's going to cost you a little more. And then we could talk about other content creators. And I think we have to start, like I said, holding ourselves accountable for some of the information that's put out there. What YouTube has that no other platform has is this mentality of feeling like after a month or 2, 3 months, 6 months on this platform that you're like a trucking guru, that you know everything. And me personally, I've only been in trucking a lot with dispatching, box trucking, and hotshot for just a little over a year now. So I'm no trucking guru in it, just like them. I do have a course with a consultation that I do charge $175 for, because it took me time to make it, and it's simply just an introduction on how to start. But honestly, there are so many things that you just simply can't put in a 10 or 20 minute video to explain what's gonna be coming when you actually start your business. And those are the type of videos that I promised myself in 2022 I would be more transparent about. Even though, like I said, I've dipped into the hotshot game, I know a lot of my followers are still looking into getting into box trucks. And like I said, let's just go over the simple fact. So as you guys can see on the screen, I went to the same place that me and my previous business partner got our 26-foot box truck for $35,000. Not cash. We financed it 10% down, $3,500 down payment. And the prices since then, for a truck with 221,000 miles, 2015 International with a Cummins engine, lift gate, pallet jack, 96-inch clearance at the door, was $35,000. 1 year ago. 1 year ago. Look at these trucks. And I put in the Atlanta area. These truck prices are insane now. And the reason is because, of course, the volume of people who want to get in, the people are leveraging and taking advantage, whether the people who are financing at these crazy rates, probably going to have like 20% interest at this point. If your credit's not good enough, you're going to be using new business credit because you're a new venture. And with that, your score probably isn't even established yet. So, of course, you're not going to get the best deal. Now, I will admit, a trick to that is having multiple people on there, multiple trade lines, in order to give you the best chance available. And we can just scroll through and see some of these deals. I'm not saying these trucks aren't worth that price. I'm just saying right now is not the best time to buy a truck for that price. Not just for the down payment, just simply how much you're spending and investing in a truck when you don't really understand the numbers behind getting into it. Yeah, I feel like it's a big difference between 35, 40,000 and almost 100 grand after everything's settled and done with the interest rate. So that's just something to think about. And now we can talk about the rental rates. Yeah, but the rental rates have not been any better for you to not finance though. So the average rental rate right now, and I would put like for a decent rental rate, it's probably around $650 to $750 a week, and somewhere around 15 to 20 cents per mile. Even if we give you the benefit of the doubt and say you're running $625 per week, $650 per week and 15 cents per mile. When you're at the end of the month and you roll 500 miles a day for every working day, and so basically what, 20 days, that's about 2,500 miles a week, comes out to 10,000 miles per month. Let's do the math. So you got 650 for the weekly payment times 4 weeks out of the month. That's 2,600. And that's if, you're going to run every week, but hopefully you got like a long-term rental agreement. And then we're going to go 20 cents per mile. That's going to be another $2,000 along with that 2,600. And a lot of people will say, well, Mike, when I get this truck, the maintenance going to be included. Yes, that's true, but it takes them longer to get to your truck when it, comes to maintenance, because they know it's one of their trucks, if that makes sense. They don't really be in a rush to pump it back out. And also, but Mike, what if my truck go down? Then it'll be pretty quick for me to get another one. In this rental game right now, that's not really the case. I got my homeboy Jabril hit me up. He let me know his truck was in the shop for about a month just for an oil change. Then something else happened that he couldn't control due to the weather, and it's hard for him to get another truck. And that's just not his story. That's a lot of people's story. And that's why a lot of people are transitioning from renting to either buying or financing. But even the financing game, as you guys can see, is going to be brutal due to inflation because of everybody wanting to get into the game and the market. Which that's the next thing we're going to talk about. Let's talk about the LTL freight industry as far as the market as a whole. Because what's being said a lot is that you're entering an $800 billion industry. Damn! And when they are saying that, when content creators say that, there's nothing wrong with it. They're speaking on freight that's moved for hire, period, like all of it. Whether it's sprinter, hotshot, flatbed, LTL, full truckload, step deck, flat. You know what I'm saying? They're talking about everything. But if you talk about the LTL sector as a whole, it's only generating about 40 billion a year. Huh? And I got the statistic to show that. So, and like I said, this video isn't the shit on it. I'm still in the LTL sector. I'm still running non-CDL hotshot. Just failed air brakes for the CLP, and I'm about to retake it Monday, and hopefully get my hazmat certification with that thing. Shut your. The LTL sector as a whole, which represents about 10% for overall for-hire trucking revenue, first broke the $40 billion mark in 2018 and took in more than 42.1 in 2020. Even if that number for 2021 jumped to 45 billion, you're not entering for LTL freight. When they say you're entering, they said maybe as a stepping stone, you can transition into dry van. But I want to see that more from people who are actually doing that. I'm not saying they're not going to do it in the future, but what I'm not seeing in this market is enough support from the dry van industry to let us know, necessarily if it's worth it or not. Because I do know in the hotshot game, it's a lot of mentors and a lot of people who have stepped into either a step deck or flatbed, and they're documenting their journey that way while still helping at the hotshot guys who are new. I'm not seeing that for box trucks. I'm just seeing a whole bunch of people who make their channels and they make it seem like they bosses and CEOs. And I'm getting so many, man, y'all wouldn't believe how many people have came to me and said, Mike, I spent $1,000 for this course, but I got less value from that than just simply watching your videos. Got a whole entire course. It's not being pushed into the algorithm, but the people who are selling crazy money for courses and mentorships, and they don't know a lick about trucking, but they're the ones selling a dream to you guys. And this isn't to sell a dream. This is just simply to give you guys the facts so you're not misled. So it's more content, objectifying. So there's more objective content and not just everybody's subjective experience. I have a problem with doing that myself, but I told myself this year I was going to change and show people more the real so they won't risk losing a great career or a potential great career for stepping into a game that right now is pretty much, I won't say it's oversaturated, but it's being taken advantage of. And now we're going to get into the next step, and I'm going to use the load board to kind of explain this reasoning. But we're going to talk about LTL freight rates and then your cost to operate while renting a truck, because that's going to be the most popular ideology. You should get a truck, you should rent it, less risk. anything goes wrong, you'll get another truck. Maybe back then, not now. But let's just say it goes well, and we're going to talk about the numbers and how they can just not make sense depending on how your business is ran. So what we're going to do in this portion right now, we're going to search the straight box market with Power DAT. If you guys want this load board, it's a way you can find work. Check the link in the description. Also, if you need same day factoring and next day factoring, check out the OTR RTS link in the description as well. So we're going to get into that. Matter of fact, we're just going to go straight into the averages for dry vans, and we're going to compare them to what brokers use as a negotiating tactic towards box trucks. So now we are in dry van season. So give or take, these numbers won't always be the same, but they're looking pretty damn good for a dry van in America. Seems like damn near anywhere you are, you're going to be getting about $3 a mile to operate. Now, take in consideration, a 53-foot dry van is twice the size of a 26-foot box truck. So how do you think a broker would negotiate? Let's say you are coming out of Chicago, which honestly, if you're dispatching that truck should be making easily from $2 to $2.20 a mile with deadhead included. Sorry, guys. But the load board showing us at $3.40 for a full truckload. So what TQL is going to tell you, well, this load is going $1.70 loaded miles because I can get a dry van to take 53 feet of freight for $3.41. But your cost to operate is probably way higher than $1.70 to operate and make real money. Now, with that comes more learning and experience and learning how to negotiate. You can let them know, shit, man, fuel is $4.50 a gallon there. I got a deadhead 100 miles to get there and pick up the freight. Things like, is it dedicated? When does it need to be delivered? How many pallets is it? Do you need the space of my entire truck, or is this a partial rate? Stuff like that really matters because you can get $3 a mile for a box truck freight if it's worth $3 a mile. If that makes sense. If they really need it that bad, the customer is gonna pay to get it expedited. The broker has that money. They may have been paid $3 a mile and trying to broker it out for $1.70. We never really know all the time. But if you get caught up and you're just listening, you're not understanding, it's business at the end of the day. Brokers can kind of do whatever they want to an extent, and they do stuff like double broker. Just like I explained. A customer will order, let's say a dry van for $3.50 a mile. Landstar takes the load as a carrier, takes it to the brokerage. They don't have a truck available to do it, and they broker that same load out. Let's say it's $3,500 for 1,000 miles, and they figure out, oh, it's only with the dimensions, it's only 10 pallets that can fit on the box truck. So this same load that's paying $3,500, I can broker it out to a box truck since they only need $2.50 a mile to operate for $2,500. And we're taking that freight too, not knowing it's already been touched. You know what I mean? So those are the small things that when you're getting into this game, you're not gonna really learn it unless you're hearing it from somebody like me, or you actually get into the industry and find it out for yourself. And it's pretty obvious when you're being double broker. You go and you get your bill of lading and you see that your name isn't even on it for the carrier. That's about it. If you guys want more information about box trucking, I can give you the game. I can show you what it really takes for somebody to really grind and what you need to do. Where's the freight good? Where you don't need to be, have your truck at as far as dispatching. And that's one thing I just want to say too. I drove just in the past 2 weeks, probably about 6,500 to 7,000 miles. Just the past 2 weeks. I'm not coming on here from somebody who's not putting the work in. And I don't want you guys to look at box trucking as a career path that like for longevity. And I'm not saying that for anybody who does it, who's been doing this 5-10 years, but it should be a stepping stone. It doesn't necessarily have to be a stepping stone into real estate and passive income. It could be stepping stones up into a dry van, maybe a dump truck business, something else that you learn in the transportation industry that you can make just as much money without working as hard. Now, I'm not saying semi is not going to be hard work, but I know what my mindset. I don't want to be stagnant. I don't always want high competition. I don't always want high overhead. I want to buy a truck cash I hope this video helped you guys out. Like I said, I'm just trying to bring more authentic content because it's not much out there. Simply just knowing from somebody who was doing this last year and put all they had into this shit. Like I would hate for somebody to put everything they had into it, and it's even more than I had to risk. It seemed like it was lower risk to get in back then, and it simply was. Like, it's more risk now, it's more overhead now, it's more competition now. I just don't see how starting the business in 2022 can make too much sense. And it's not just for box truck, it's for hot shot too. But you see, I'm still doing hot shot and I'm still making it work for me. So could you be that person that starts and make it work and prove somebody like me wrong? Hell yeah. And I hope all of y'all prove me wrong by making this video, because I know people who made $2,000-$3,000 last week in a box truck due to dispatch. And I know some people who made $8,000 because they grinding and they hustling. You gotta hustle in this game for real, man. And I don't mean that hustling that a lot of these people on these channels doing to y'all, like they hustling y'all. They not really teaching y'all anything. They just want something from you. I don't mind if that's knowledge, because knowledge is power. And I charge for my time as well. But some people are just doing a disservice to people. And I feel like all I can really do, instead of like really adding somebody, calling somebody out, like I'm too grown for that type of stuff. I got a mortgage to pay too, so I'm not worried about how somebody else pay their rent or their mortgage. I'm just trying to help y'all out. Like I said, I hope this video helped y'all out. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you want some more real content like this. But I'm out. Peace.